Got a TWOSUN. TWOSUN. Okay. It's an OG. One of these old models. I think I know what this one is. Man, look at this thing. Whew, how did I come across this? How'd somebody let this go? I mean, that's what I want to know. Wow, is this thing, man alive. Let me get rid of this. We'll get a model number on this. You already know because you're looking at the title of the video. This is a ts86 D2 steel, titanium scales, titanium backspacer, and I think that's a steel pocket clip. No, it's titanium. Titanium pocket clip, but it's got steel hardware. Yep. And then D2 steel. What a awesome, unique piece. This thing's in pretty good shape. Got a couple of little snail trails right there. Really light ones. I mean, it doesn't take much. Put it in a pocket. Pardon me. Put it in a pocket one time and you can get that. Yeah, man. Well, let's get in it. I mean, what a cool piece, man. This is another one I mentioned a while back that, man, I have a lot of these old TWOSUNs sitting around. A lot of them. Which is crazy when you think about how many TWOSUNs I have in my collection. And then I say I've got a lot of these old school ones sitting around. Like, I just come across them and I may or may not have a lot of interest in them, but when you start collecting, Matchbox cars, you go, oh yeah, I don't have that one, I better get it. And so there's a lot of that, man, where I know I don't have it. I check my database. I don't have a particular knife. There's one available. There's one out there floating around in the Ethernet somewheres. And rather than just let it float, I got to get it. Hey, so the 2 rows of TWOSUN videos are wrapped. They are done. Now, like this knife was never in a 2 rows of TWOSUNs because those videos are done. But it's got a current individual video that we're doing right here. And so the idea behind the 2 rows of TWOSUNs wasn't really like every knife was going to get done in a 2 row of TWOSUNs. It was the concept, the idea behind it was a way for me to cover a knife, even if just briefly, that wasn't, that hadn't gotten checked in with a video because I owned it prior to the channel. And so I thought, well, I'll just do 2 rows at a time and get all the TWOSUNs. And so some of them did have individual reviews. Most did not. So now like this one's got an individual review, but we're not doing any more 2 rows of TWOSUNs. Those videos are done. So if you're interested in those, they're in a playlist. You can pull up that playlist and I don't know how many of them there is, but there's plenty. And those are fairly long videos. I mean, if you're bored on a Saturday, I mean, yeah, it's almost like binge watching The Walking Dead or something, man. But there's a lot of old, cool TWOSUNs being covered in those videos. But my point is, there's a lot more that aren't covered that are sitting around my bench that are in a box here that need checked in and stored and cleaned up, and you know, like this one. Let's get that O-ring down in there correctly. There it is. Nice little racetrack washer, internal stop pin. Nice, very nice. The action was pretty smooth and snappy, so I'm not going to mess with the detent on this knife. I'm going to leave it be. I'm going to trust the factory. I say the factory. I'm assuming it because the knife doesn't really look handled. The edge is definitely factory. The scales look factory. I did see a couple of little snail trails, but it's amazing how little handling you got to do to get a little snail trail on this satin hand finish. Stuff shows up pretty easy. It's got a rubber O-ring on both sides of the pivot. And it's a superior system, it really is. No Loctite, so they come apart very easy and they hold the pivot screws secure. They don't come loose. I think I'm a little over tight there. It's not very free. I feel like it's bound up somehow. I mean, it's the lock bar. Because if I get that out of the way, that blade is super loose in there. I'm going to have to check it now. I'm going to look at where we're locked up and where it lands once it's open. Looks like that line is even to the outside. Let's see. I mean, I don't mind. That's what I'm here to do. It's what I do. It's like telling the elevator operator you take the stairs. It's like, what? It's what I do, man. Yeah, so that's that's exactly where it locks up. There is no room for me to adjust that whatsoever. Yep. Okay. Well, it is what it is. I am's what I am's. Ain't gonna be no playing with that action. I mean, This, to me, this would make a good little pocket stinger. It's just unique enough with high-end materials. Now, granted, it's only got D2. But like this knife needs L-Max or Magna Cut or, you know what I mean? This knife don't need that. It's not going to go into that kind of duty. It's a simple little pocket knife. Wonderful ergonomics. Well, let's break it down. Start with that action. I mean, I got to coax it a little bit. Very snappy. Spidey flick. Yeah, this fuller with all that milling in there. Wonderful little platform to Spidey flick and thumb flick off of. Yeah. Very cool. I mean, look at that. Let me get up close so you can peek at it. Look at the milling going on here. I mean, definitely put some time in that. There's a logo. One of you know who that is. I do not. Be sure to throw a comment down below. Let us know. Yeah, really snappy. I mean, A-. That's good. Very hydraulic, Ergonomics. So this right here, yeah. I mean, somebody modeled a hand and they molded this knife to fit in a hand because, man, does that fit. Not so confident, very confident. This thing goes, ooh, keeps going, ooh, yeah, all the way towards the top, man. That flipper tab creates a wonderful little finger guard. And then even the swoop here for the thumb, man, is that a confident grip. I am so locked in there. It's got a little sway back going on. Yeah, really locked in. There's even sharp jimping in the backspacer that goes up against the palm. Very locked in, very secure grip here. Reverse grip, yeah, again, fingers are locked in behind that finger guard, and wonderful platform to grab on here over the pocket clip right here. The finger locked in there. Really confident grip here. Very nice. Whoop, whoop. And let's see if I can get this last one. This one, not so much. I mean, I can get here if I was having to, like, throw that into a board and drill a hole or something. Maybe I would go there, but not so much that. Wonderful ergonomics, though. Very comfortable. Let's, you know what? I am going to see if I can't help this action a little bit. Just a little bit of tension on that frame lock. And run that ball over that scale. Not a lot, but just a little bit. Let's check pocket. Pocket clip, check. There we go. Yeah, I think it's going to be wonderful. Oh, look at the tension on that. Yeah, it didn't quite go all the way on the thick stuff, and it left, I mean, well over an inch sticking out, but it's an interesting inch. But yeah, it's kind of awkward. It did not go flush with the thick material. Standard jean size material, money, yeah, but they're still over an inch sticking out of that pocket. Pretty cool. It's an interesting look, that black pocket clip, this nice swoop milled into it here, and then this narrow tip coming out. Yeah, it works really well, though, in standard jeans. My spot in the back pocket back here, I mean, it would disappear back here. I wouldn't know that it was there. Definitely a dryer clip. The tension there is wonderful. So if I tumbled around, it would be there if I went looking for it. Pretty high riding piece, though. I mean, every bit of that sticking out of the pocket. Yeah, quite a bit. What about blade contact? Yeah, none through the scales, but the tip is exposed. Yeah, I can touch that tip all day long. So if this was down in my back pocket, and I just, it was down like this, and I happened to reach around to reach into that pocket and stuck my finger right there. That tip is completely exposed to my finger. Yep. So the clip is awesome. Exposed tip, not kinda, but a completely exposed tip, and then it's safe through the back of the scales. Wonder if it's sharp. So as far as the tip being exposed, it's a needle. Yeah, 100% needle, and then sharp edge for sure. But let's prove it out. That's enough for me. Yeah, completely razor blade edge. Yeah, so that tip's kind of a bummer. Price and availability. Yeah, this is another one of those old school TWOSUNs, man. ts86. I, I may have seen one other of these roaming the plains in the wild. Maybe one other. I'm not 100%, but I think I saw one other. Yeah, so I don't know what you'd pay for it. My guess would be it's probably going to be north of $75 to $100, maybe north of $100, just because it's so rare, And it's a cool knife, very cool, wonderful milling on the titanium. Like that is hollow milling. Yeah, so it's not just a flat swedge cut on there; it's hollowed out. Great little example of milling on a piece. All right. TWOSUN TS86. Appreciate y'all watching.